Hello there and welcome to My.na Property with Ashwin Betty. We are at Just Property. For a long time, this franchise group has been focusing on the buying and selling of properties and also specializing in body corp management as well as the management of properties. Today, we're going to find out a little bit about them, how they've been faring in the industry over the years, what made them come about, and particularly what keeps Just Property going.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Joining me now is Greta Dos Santos, who focuses on residential sales at Just Property. How are you, Greta?
Hi, Ashwin. I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
You know, it's good to have you here because as I walked in, the first thing I noticed was your multiple awards and your certificates. You've been in the industry for over a decade.
Well, I've been in the industry since 2009.
Wow, so yeah.
So it's 13 years this year.
Incredible. And you know, what's it been like, you know, working particularly in sales, residential sales in Namibia?
It's an absolute roller coaster. In 2009, when I started, we just came out of a recession, and then was the huge boom with the Angolan people buying houses. And it was, you know, as soon as we got stock onto our books, it sold. So that was really, it feels to me like that was the golden time of properties.
Golden age. Okay.
And properties were growing so fast. And then in 2015, we started seeing the decline. And then, of course, it was a recession, and then it was COVID.
Speaking of COVID, you know, could we just put a pin in that? Let's talk about COVID for a bit. What was it like making that transition? Because I mean, the world essentially shut down. It was very difficult for people to want to make, you know, any new investments. What was it like trying to, you know, sail those waters, so to speak?
It was very difficult. It was an extremely unsure time, not only for people buying and selling, but for agents as well. We need to advise our clients, and it's very difficult to do so in such an uncertain time. But usually, with all uncertain times in life, the people who are brave during those times tend to pocket.
Absolutely.
So the people who were selling then, they sold at prices lower than what they would normally expect because they were uncertain, you know. They just wanted to cut their losses and run. And the people who dared to buy during 2020, they bought bargains.
All right. Okay. So it was a wise move.
So there were some brave people who are smiling all the way.
All right. Okay, so now we're in 2023. The year has just started. What's your view of the market right now, particularly in January?
Yes. So what we've seen from 2021 onwards was that or let me say from 2017 onwards, the prices steadily declined.
Okay.
And then what we saw last year was that the prices sort of stabilized. There was no growth, but the prices stabilized, which I feel is a very good sign in the property market. But then now in January 2023, like all Januaries, it's crazy trying to sort out things, but it's also a bit of a quiet time in terms of stock. Because we're sitting with the leftover stock from last year, and there's not a lot of new stock yet. The schools only started last week, most of the schools, so people are settling into school and into work. So by end of February, middle to end of February, the market will definitely pick up again, and with new stock coming in.
All right, no, very, very interesting, you know, and of course, you know, as people are adjusting, one thing I did notice though was that you don't seem to see any situation as a negative, you know, whether it's COVID. have a positive outlook,
I can't.
which I think is very helpful. Yes.
I am a very positive person.
Yeah.
So when the recession started, my clients said, "When will the market turn?" And every time I said, "Next year,
Next year, and the queue's
So
going
yeah,
that way.
so
Yeah.
I'm still feeling like this year things will go better.
All right.
for us.
And speaking of just property in particular, you are feeling like it's going to be a positive outlook in 2023?
I definitely feel so. We've got 2 dedicated sales agents and we work in completely different markets.
Yes.
Yeah, and we are both very strong agents.
All right.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
What would your advice be to someone who wants to buy a residential property in Namibia at this time?
I would say that now is the time.
Now's the time.
Because we might be at the point where the market will start turning again, curving upwards. And you don't want to buy then. You want to buy while properties are still priced low.
You know what, Greta? If there's someone whose timing I can trust, is this someone who has so many timeless awards on the wall. Thank you very much for having this chat with us.
Thank you, Ashwin. It was really nice to have some.
All right. So according to Greta dos Santos, the time is now. Stay with My.na Property.
Neo Paints was founded and established by Hubert Hesse in 1953, making it the largest and oldest paint manufacturer in Namibia. Hesse wanted to make Namibian paint for Namibian conditions and opened the first Neo Paints head office in Windhoek. And up till recently, our headquarters and manufacturing site were located in Bell Street, Southern Industrial. For over 68 years, Neo Paints has created a Namibian legacy of creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation to bring beauty to the harshest environments. We pride ourselves on being a 100% Namibian-owned company and experience utmost gratification to invest in our country and our people. Neo Paints has recently invested in the construction of a new production facility on a 26,000 square meter site in Windhoek. Phase 1 was completed in April 2021, and the second phase was completed in February 2022. This development offers our company the potential to increase production capacity and increase the potential to expand the workforce through a wider distribution footprint into Southern Africa. This new, larger factory lends itself to more state-of-the-art production processes, new innovative product development, and better customer service. Our products are specifically formulated for the harsh Namibian environment by our own paint chemists, which give our company the competitive edge in the Namibian paint market. Neo Paints, a coat of excellence.
Joining me now is Lorna van Wyk, who focuses on residential sales at Just Property. How are you, Lorna?
Fine, yourself.
I am fantastic. Lorna, how many years have you been in the industry?
Almost 20 years.
Almost 20 years.
That's correct.
I think I was 10 years old when I got into the industry. Okay, so of course, having been in the industry, close to 2 decades, what are some of the changes you think you've seen which are significant?
Gee, when I've joined this industry, selling properties was much easier than today. We didn't have the challenges of, like COVID, the impact that it had on the economy. I think the Namibian dollar was not so
strong at that time.
Yeah, it was strong at that time. And it was more easier to satisfy the demands, of the needs of the clients. As I only focus on the western side of Windhoek, like the Katatura, Koreaangap, Rocky Crest, Dorado, Sibabasia. I like to focus on the entry level in the property industry up to 3.5. It is not that they didn't work, that they don't work in the other areas, but I like that areas.
Yes.
And to satisfy the needs and the demands of the clients were much easier.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I think there's much more challenges. Yes, the property prices became sky high, and asset and the financial institutions, they are not so easy
to work with.
To work with, to
give out
finalize.
loans to finance these properties. Yeah,
exactly.
Now I can imagine, working, on the west side of Windhoek. It's usually a lot of people who are trying to be responsible, with their money, still starting out with those properties. What's the process like in general? Let's say I come to you and I say, look, I'm looking for property in Simbabasia.
All right, I first would like to know if you have a pre-approval, basically that you know what you are qualifying for. And then if you don't have a specific consultant at a specific bank, I will link you up. Yes, I will link you up with a consultant that we can determine your price. And then I'm very much focused on what is the needs of the client. What specifications the property must have. It doesn't help us to take them to a property and they want a pool and there's no pool, or take them to a property that is in the market and the price is not in their range. So I like to concentrate on that. And yes, to satisfy their needs.
Would you say like right now it's a buyer's or seller's market?
It depends. It can be a buyer's market if the price is right, but unfortunately there are a lot of sellers that can drop their prices nowadays because they bought their properties a few years back at a high price, and now due to our socio-economical factors, prices has reduced, and it is a challenge for them to sell their properties at a lower price. And even at clients that used to live in Kammersdal or the Katatura or the Koreangap, now they want to move closer to town or closer to their workplace or to schools, and it's also a challenge to find a property within their price range. But luckily, if they are government-based or government-employed, we can take both the subsidies of the husband and the wife and put it together, and then they qualify for a higher price. So it makes it easier.
Yes, indeed. All right, now finally, let's talk about the development in Kleiner Cooper.
Okay, there's a new development, Northern Valleys. It will be built close to Windhoek Gymnasium School. It is detached properties, like what we call nowadays freestanding sectional titles. So you are still in a complex, so you still have the safety and the security, but you are not, the units are not built, they're not attached. Yes, so you have your earth area, it's almost 200 squares.
Oh wow. Nice.
And there are a few different options.
All right, and what's the price range?
You choose from. It started at 1.890 and it's just over 2 million if you choose between a double carport and a double garage.
All right. Well, thank you very much for having this conversation with us. I feel like I'm much, much wiser because, in a few minutes I just got a bit of 20 years of experience from you.
Thank you.
All right. So just talking to Lorna van Wyk, and she knows all about the industry right here at Just Property.
Kom kuier gerus elke Vrydag aand saam met Arjougar, waar hy vooruitskouing doen van wat op die sportvelde reg oor die wêreld gaan plaasvind. Daar word op die naweek se top internasionale sportgeleenthede gefokus en plaaslike sport in Namibië asook Suid-Afrika word in oënskou geneem. Die kenners praat saam en huidige asook oud spelers gee hul mening en ons hoor grootlik sommer uit die spreekwoordelike perd se bek. Niemand weet met sekerheid wat die naweek op die sportveld gaan gebeur nie, maar iemand weet wel watter faktore die uitslae kan beïnvloed. Ons praat met daardie iemand wat weet. En soms word geheim ook uitgelaat. Vrydae-aande is ons in die tonnel gereed om uit te draf. Dit is jou Vrydag afspraak wat jou ingelig gaan hou voordat die spelers uit die tonnel opdraf. Sport is ons passie. Sien jou in die tonnel.
Joining me now is Chantal Teichmann, who is the founding member and currently the only founder of Just Property. How are you, Chantal?
I'm very well, thank you.
Yeah, so since 2005.
Yeah.
My goodness, what's that journey been like as a whole?
Well, I always say I can write a book.
Yes, you can.
Especially we started off as just letting at the time.
All right.
And we only did rentals.
Oh, okay.
And rentals, oh my goodness.
It's a different kind of market.
It's a different kind of ball game.
Yeah.
But yeah, ever since Just Property have a lot of changes. I'm part of a franchise.
All right.
That's very big in South Africa.
All right.
And we had a lot of changes in the company.
All right.
So we have sales and we have rentals.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, no, that's wonderful. Let's focus more on the management aspect, because a lot of people don't know that, body corp management is a thing that you can do, and particularly that Just Property, provides. What's it like, dealing with body corp management in Namibia?
Well, it's challenging because the owners of their units needs to pay their levies every month. And a lot of agents don't tell that to the people that buys the units.
Okay.
So then from this side, we invoice them, but it also covers like your fire cover, your insurance, so you don't have to pay that extra.
Right.
So, and that's also to keep your investment intact, and so you can sell it one day.
All right.
So we would pay it in any case on your own.
Okay.
It's just part of your levies.
All right.
So that's very important to know if you buy in a sectional title complex.
All right.
And that also came my way in 2013.
Okay.
It's now 10 years that
Wow.
I've been very successfully manage body corporates as well as rental property.
I wanted to talk about that. Yeah,
Yes.
Let's talk about the rental property. What kind of properties do you manage?
Any kind of property,
all right.
commercial, residential, flats, anything from the front door inside
Okay.
is my rental management.
All right.
Body corporate management is from the front door outside.
All right.
Yes. So that is the different management we do.
All right. And what was that transition like, making the transition into, body corp management and the management of properties?
Well, I had to go to Paddock, South Africa, and I had to do a course
Okay.
to learn my Sectional Title Act.
Wow.
So I think it's important that you know the law when you manage
Yes.
a sectional title complex,
All right.
because there's a lot of rules and laws involved
Okay.
in managing
All
a
right.
sectional title complex.
My
yes.
goodness. Okay, and what's the sales space for you like right now with regards to selling of properties? How do you feel Just Property has been doing, let's say, in the last 3 years?
Well, if you looked at the social media and you looked at the papers, you would see that we've won a lot of banks.
Yes.
And you've just interviewed my very good sales agents,
Yeah.
Lona and Greta van Wyk.
Yes.
They are very good at what they do. So if you ever want to sell your property, please call Just Property.
Yes.
Give us your property and let us sell. It's like they say as well, they work in different areas.
All right.
So you get you covered all over Windhoek at Just Property.
All right.
So will it be rentals, sales, management, whatever your need in property is,
Yes.
please give us a call.
I wanted to actually mention that there isn't a single aspect of wanting a property that Just Property doesn't make sure. And I think, that's nice to have that in your name, to say Just Property, as long as it's property, we're just going to be there. So what do you feel about the future of Just Property? You started in 2005, bought out your partner just 2 years after that.
Yes.
I think that's a reflection of, ambition. And, I don't know what the particulars of the relationship was, but in general, entrepreneurs, when starting off in the first 2-3 years, a lot of people give up, a lot of people get out. What made you want to stick it through, and what do you see in the future of Just Property?
What I want to see in the future in Just Property is I would like to have a Just Property office in every town in Namibia.
All right.
Because of the service we render.
Yes.
So I have the franchisee for the whole of Namibia.
All right.
So should there be anybody interested in opening a Just Property business in the whole of Namibia, please give us a call.
All right.
It was challenging. We had our great times, but we also had bad times. And then obviously you have your tenants that don't pay.
Oh, yes.
So that's very challenging.
Yeah.
But most of the part, it was a good journey.
It's been a good journey.
And we have opened, let me tell all the people, we have a new office at the coast.
All right.
Been there for a year now.
Nice.
And it's doing very well, giving the same services we have here at the coast.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us on My.na Property.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So I was just talking to Chantal Tachman, the lady who said in 2005 she'd be a part of Just Property, and she has been seeing it through right up until now. So make sure that all your needs are met, whether it comes to renting, selling, body corporate, or the management of property, because Chantal and her team have definitely got you covered. Stay with My.na Property. The My.na Cars Show provides viewers with the best in-class cars content, engaging interviews, as well as a showcase of the latest cars-related news, products, and services. My.na Cars aims to reach the car enthusiasts and all motoring industries, focusing on motoring news, test drives, maintenance, fast finance, accessorides, and more. This show is broadcasted on NTV, 1up2.com, and cross-shared on the following Facebook platforms: The Republican, Algemene Zeitung, and Namibia Media Holdings. Contact My.na at synergy.com.na to share your motoring news or to advertise your motoring product and service. My.na Cars, more than just a ride. That brings us to the end of this episode of My.na Property. Remember, NTV is turning 1 on the 8th of February, and you can celebrate with us by scanning a QR code in the Algemene Zeitung, Namibian Sun, or Republican, and you could win a DSTV dish kit, a DSTV Explorer, a GoTV decoder, or a 3,000 Namibian dollar shopping voucher from the Foschini Group. So by all means, do enter. The entries close on the 6th of February. Speaking of closing, like I said, that's the end of My.na Property. It is absolutely wonderful to hear all the information with regards to the industry and everything that Just Property has been doing in the property landscape in Namibia. From me, Ashwin Berry, remember, it's always more than just a roof. The My.na Property Focus page is published every Tuesday in the Market Watch, which is inserted into the Republican, Namibian Sun, and Algemene Zeitung. The My.na Properties Focus page provides viewers with the best in-class property content, engaging interviews, the latest property news, property-related products and services, including interior design, decor, DIY, gardening, property finance and insurance, and so much more. For property-related news and advertising, contact My.na at synergy.com.na and talk to the My.na Property team.